As Marvel continues to tease exploring the multiverse and possibly even introducing more Fox-Men characters into the MCU, fans tend to get really excited. Recently, Patrick Stewart said that he's on standby for the role of Professor X. And on top of this, he would follow up with another interview where he talked a little bit about his good friend Magneto, Ian McKellen. And he said that there's a plan for both of them to work together again soon. So I think most of you remember, but there were reports way back in the day I guess a year and a half ago at this point, that Magneto was going to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but that he was cut due to the change of direction and them reshooting the third act of the film like 8 to 6 weeks out from premiere, which seems to be the norm these days for Marvel. So maybe he was intended to be in there, but they couldn't make it happen. But it sounds like he's still going to be returning. Again, Patrick Stewart recently was talking about reuniting with old friends, talking a little bit about his experience, and of course, again, saying that he's been told to be on standby for when they need him as Professor X. And this is where the conversation veers off into his experience. They talk a little about the X-Men history, and he brings up Ian. And he brings up that the two are going to be working together again. And it's not relatively too far away. So he doesn't explicitly say it's for the X-Men, but combining that with the fact that we know that he's returning, because he said it, Deadpool 3 shooting this summer, them being in the Fox X-Men universe, it would make sense if they go to the X-Mansion, where I assume Wolverine would be when Deadpool needs to recruit him, if we saw Professor X, and maybe even Magneto was somehow involved in there. Maybe they're both involved in a battle, and he's just like, oh, look, here's what's going on. Of course, Charles and Magneto are always fighting. We don't have time to deal with this. Again, it's an easy way to do it, and I would believe, honestly, that this is the project they would put him in, on top of Secret Wars, or maybe even Doctor Strange 3. So there's, I guess, tons of possibilities, really, and I don't see why they wouldn't do it, considering that Ian's role as Magneto is one of the most iconic in comic book history. So let's hope it all works out and they can agree to whatever agreement they need between both parties and it happens, because I'd love to see a good farewell to his Magneto.